During the media forum held in occupied Artsakh, Aliyev is handed the insignia of the Ukrainian army's branches. Accepting the gift with a warm smile and thanks, Aliyev makes another symbolic anti-Russian gesture. Some analysts believe that the cunning Aliyev is in a double game, intensifying pro-Ukrainian steps in parallel with the deepening of anti-Russian sentiments, only to later change the situation to increase his opportunities to bargain with Russia on various issues. After the arrests of alleged Azerbaijani criminals in Russia and Russian journalists in Azerbaijan, when it seemed the parties were playing to a conditional draw, Aliyev brought up last year's plane crash.
There can be no double game here because Azerbaijan has a vested interest in Russia's situation in Ukraine becoming more complicated.
On February 22, 2022, on the eve of the war against Ukraine, Russia and Azerbaijan signed a declaration on allied interaction, through which Baku deepened its military, political, and economic ties with Moscow. What has changed in these years? Are the tense Russia-Azerbaijan relations just momentary in nature, conditioned by a single unfortunate incident?
We cannot say that this is some emotional, temporary phenomenon because it has lasted for more than half a year. This speaks to the fact that there is a negative trend. Yes, they are trying to maintain interstate relations at almost the same level. There are no economic sanctions, the level of diplomatic relations is not decreasing, and so on. But we see how each country is trying to fight against the other's influence in its own territory.
The day-by-day escalation of relations, as analysts note, has not yet affected the bilateral economic interests of Russia and Azerbaijan, for example, the transit of Russian gas through Azerbaijani pipelines to European countries. The political scientist also draws parallels with Turkey-Israel relations.
Russia-Azerbaijan relations, like all international relations, have different layers. For example, Turkey and Israel. At the diplomatic and political level, Turkey's rhetoric is clearly anti-Israeli, but at the same time, Azerbaijani oil reaches Israel via Turkish territory and the Ceyhan pipeline, supporting its economy and allowing Israel to continue the war.
After displaying the arrested Russian journalists with a tortured appearance and provoking the Russian public with other similar steps, Aliyev is bringing the topic of the plane that crashed in Aktau back to the agenda. He was also very emotional this January, making accusations and demands. But after a commemorative plaque for Haidar Aliyev was installed in a corner of Moscow in March, the younger Aliyev froze the topic of the plane crash. And now in occupied Stepanakert, he declares that Azerbaijan is preparing to apply to an international court against Russia, which has not admitted its guilt, has not punished those responsible, and has not paid compensation to the victims' families, the wounded, or Azal Airline.
There were 2 people on the plane who had received shrapnel wounds. Therefore, the idea that the plane could have been shot down by a Ukrainian drone is absolutely ridiculous. We know what happened. Russia's airspace was not closed. It was closed a few minutes after the plane was shot down. It is clear that this is not the problem. This is a pretext for Aliyev and Azerbaijan because there were other problems in their relations, and Russia and Azerbaijan already had their own modus vivendi on how they should solve their problems.
Analysts recalled that by leaving Artsakh, Moscow not only failed to secure its interests, but also began to lose its position throughout the entire region. Moscow's relations are becoming strained with both Baku and Yerevan, and they have never been restored with Tbilisi. Instead, another player, Turkey, is gradually establishing itself in the region, continuously expanding its influence in the zones where Russia used to dictate the rules of the game. Monica Hayrian, Vardan Pagosian, ReOpen Media.